Hello everyone, welcome back to Hard Surface. I hope you are doing well. Since the last tutorial, I've done a few changes to the mesh. So as I said I perfected the shape of this controller port and I copied it over to the right side. I've placed the screws in their place and I've used the boolean to carve out these shapes, and I've made a copy of this connector and place it on the side as well. I think that's about it. I haven't done any more changes. For the next part of this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to fix the topology so we can use a subdivide modifier and make the mesh look smooth, because as you can tell, the edges are incredibly sharp right now and no object in reality is this sharp. If you look at the real Nintendo, you see the edges are very smooth and rounded. And some are a bit sharper than others, and for sure we can try to replicate that, but generally edges aren't very sharp at all in most objects. I'm also going to show you how to UV map this mesh, how to texture it, and how to render it. As always, I'd like to remind you I'll have links in the description to the reference images as well as to several iterations of this mesh, so you can download them at any point that is relevant to you. I'll also have timestamps, so you can skip to any subjects of interest whenever you like. So before we move on, I'd just like to give you a preview of the subdivision surface modifier. So to do that, let's head over here to the top and let's isolate this mesh. And let's head over to the left, add a subdivision surface. Now as you can see, this tries to round the whole thing, and it's not what we want. To fix this, we need to add control edges. Control edges are edges that will sharpen your mesh, or will tell the subdivision surface modifier that it needs to sharpen the edge there. So if we add a few of this, you'll see it starts to sharpen the shape and looking more like we'd like it to. We'll add another one here. Bring it over. And as you can see, now our edges can catch a bit of light and the shading looks much better. But it's still not perfect. The last thing we need to do for this to look truly round is to head over to the shading on our left and hit the smooth. This will smooth out the normal calculations and the way the light interacts with the edges and the mesh in general, so you'll get a much smoother result. To smooth it out and make it more accurate, really, you'll have to come to the subdivisions and increase them by as much as you like, really. Depends on what you're trying to do, but in this case 2 is plenty. Now I'm going to bring back the mesh, and as you can see, the result here is perfect. So why would you need to fix the topology? So let's head over to the bottom half here and let's add a subdivision surface to it as well. Let's increase the view to 2 and let's come here and try to add a control line to sharpen this edge. As you can see, you can't even place a control line here because it's the topology is all messed up. You can't even do it. So we need to fix the topology. So I'll just remove this subdivision modifier and let's start fixing things up straight away. So let's isolate the object and start working on this mess. So let's start by getting rid of these edges, and we should try to avoid triangles, n-gons, and keep it as simple as we can. Then we'll make sure these edges match the corners of our holes. We can use the snaps tools to do that with snapping to vertex. Then we can slide these over and make sure they overlap, so we can later delete them by removing doubles. Now we can start deleting some edges here and reconnecting the points. Make sure you don't delete anything accidentally. And now we'll start making some connections with the knife tool. And at this stage we are trying to maintain quads while using up the large amount of edges coming from below. The knife tool just doesn't want to cooperate. but I shall make it do my bidding. Let's delete those, and here you see I delete something I don't mean to delete, so make sure nothing is selected on top. We want to keep this nice and round, and hopefully here you can see why we maintain that shape rather low poly, because otherwise we'd have a lot of edges to deal with, and there's no point since we are going to use the subdivision modifier. Let's finish connecting this side. Move over to the next vertex on top. Have a good look around, make sure it's what we want, at least for now. Now we can move over to this edge and add a control loop. Make sure it's not too close because we don't want this edge to be too tight. We want it to be kind of roundish because that's how it looks in the reference. But as you can see, we can't have the loop all the way around because the topology is not allowing us, so we'll have to use the knife tool and connect it. Now we can continue the loop on this side by adding an edge here and connect it with a knife. Now down here we want the edge to be more sharp, so we'll tighten up this line. Then we can continue the loop on the other side. And we can start working on the screw hole for a little bit. Use the edges you already have to fix the problems created by the boolean by merging the vertices. And down here we'll have to merge all of those to that bottom one. Let's connect this to that one, and here I'm creating a triangle, but let's not worry because it's not going to have a detrimental effect on our mesh, and we're likely to change it later on as we connect more edges. Keep making the connections and adjust the topology a little bit. And let's connect the last two. Let's not worry too much where they're going, because there's still a lot of geometry to add and corrections to make. Have a quick look around to see where to go next. Insert an edge here and make it even to that side. Make sure you see where it's going and if it can help us elsewhere. This one can. Let's make a connection here to the existing vertex. Do the same for the other side. And we'll take the chance to tighten up this corner as well. Insert two more segments there. Think about where to connect them and how they are going to be useful to the other side. So here we can extend this one and connect it. And this is the sort of thing we want to keep doing. Just connect them wherever possible and make sure they all help each other. Here I'm running into some problem with geometry, maybe a wild vertex or something like that. So here we don't need this to be all the way back there, nor do we need the faces, so let's just bring it our way and delete them. And now it seems the knife tool worked. Here I think I'm going to tighten things up a bit more. When you're moving along these vertices, remember to hit G twice so you can slide them along the edge. Now here we have some lines way off to the side, so let's bring them back a little bit and straighten them out. I should have done this to begin with, but we should scale them on the x-axis to straighten them up and then bring them into place. So let's do it a few times on each edge. And of course, if you followed my instructions, you should have the same problem, or maybe you fixed it. Either way, I have to fix mine. I'm now verifying that the vertices are connected, and then I'm going to add the control edge there. For this one, I'll use a loop cut, and the next one as well. Now the last one has a triangle, which could mean Illuminati was here, or maybe it's just bad topology. Merge those two. Let's just place a line here, and I'll get back to it in a minute. Let's finally connect this one. And make sure it's connected all the way across. You're leaving a gap here, let's fix that. And there's another gap. And it looks solid. Let's readjust the topology a bit. And this one is loose, so let's merge it. Now we have this PKN gone here. So let's start making some connections. Break this up. Add the loop cut here, and because it doesn't go all the way, I can see there's a problem with some vertex there. So let's make sure we merge it. Use even to conform to the lower edge and bring it down, so we can start tightening up the bottom edge here. Let's connect those, and it seems we'll have two vertices there, so let's merge them. Let's have a look around, see how things are going. Sometimes it's good to zoom out for a little bit and see where you are. Let's also add a subdivision surface to see how it's looking. And of course we fixed the topology, but we haven't added many control lines, so everything is still looking a bit too soft. Let's just start adding some of those now. And this is what really will make the difference with the subdivision modifier. But we shouldn't fix things up first, so it makes our life easier. Let's get rid of these triangles we made earlier on. And now we can start adding a control edge around this hole. Make sure this is merged. We can use the loop cut here to save some time. Conform to the right edge, and here the same. Now we need to merge a vertex. And the Illuminati triangles are back. Under our subdivision surface modifier, increase the view to 2. And as you can see, our hole is starting to take a good shape. Of course, we have work to do still. Let's use the loop cut on the inside. Tighten that bottom edge. And we can delete the top. And now it's looking really good, really round, with fairly tight edges. Just pull this up a little bit. I will probably have the screws in there later on. There's a plane change here, so we need to sharpen that. And as you can see, as we insert edges, it will sharpen up other areas as well. Some you might want, some you might not, but that's why you need to have a look around and see where it's going and what it's doing. Add another loop cut there, then see where it's going, and this will be useful in quite a few ways. Another one down there, and see where it's going as well. Continue the loop on this side, and I'll just hide the subdivision surface for a better view now. Let's use the knife to follow through all the way. And as you can see, this odd shading, it's usually a sign there's a problem, but don't worry, we'll fix it straight away by finishing our connection. Now we can add a few more control loops down here and connect them. Let's insert another one here. But because we have loose ends, we'll have to do it with a knife. And as usual, when you have loop cuts, you have to make sure it's not messing up other areas. So let's have a look on the other side here. You see, it's we have a line there we shouldn't. And yeah, we have to also, as we tighten up some areas, other areas will be tightened up. And the further along we are in this process, the more, or rather the less edges you have to do. So here I can see we need to merge some vertex because we forgot to do the remove doubles earlier. Let's merge the other vertices there. And then let's add some loop cuts. And this will immediately start tightening up the top end there. And even without the subdivision surface, with just the smooth shading, you can see it starting to shape our console a lot better and in a much more realistic fashion. So let's add more loop cuts and tighten up those edges. And where they can't connect, you make sure to use the knife to cut in a line there. And often you'll need more than one loop cut to hold an edge, but it really depends on the type of edge. And it's something you'll see on a case-by-case basis. And you'll see here, as I insert an edge loop, it goes where I don't want it to go because of the way the topology is set up. So you can either fix the topology or manually change the loop, which is what I'm doing. And here my thought process is I'm doing a kind of a cost-benefit analysis and see where I should connect the edges, and should I cut them off or should I try to use them for another loop. And in the end it all depends on many factors, such as is it going to be feasible, is it going to excuse me, be a detriment to the final visual result, considering that my mesh is not going to be animated and it's going to be an offline render. I mean, sometimes there's no point worrying too much about it. And things are looking pretty good in this area. I'd say it's getting close to being finalized. But then again, we'll have to add some control edges for the vents, and when we do that, we'll have a lot more geometry to worry about. Maybe we'll just cut it off in triangles and be done with it, because I don't think it's going to affect the shape at all, or the shading. So if that's the case, it will be good. Now here we're just using the knife to add a few more edges, control edges at that, and just keep on doing that until everything is nice and sharp where you want it to be sharp, and nice and soft where you want it to be soft. That's the workflow here. And I should mention there's some really good plugins out there, like HardOps for instance, that will help you with hard surface modeling. But if you're learning as a beginner, I would suggest you learn this sort of stuff first and then move on to that. We have a gap here which might indicate a loose vertex, so let's check them. And there it is. Let's merge the vertex and connect that to make our loop complete. Here we are closing off this loop and making sure the topology looks okay. Do the same on the other sides, and it's looking at the shading, it seems to be some loose vertex there, and there it is. Merge it and keep tightening things up. There's another loose vertex. Now we can add some control edges on the inside there to sharpen things up. Get those triangles out of the way and tighten up the lines a little bit. And when you use the subdivision surface, it's looking pretty good to me. So let's start with the easy ones to get you warmed up. Let's place one there. Let's see where it goes. It ends here and it goes through there. Okay, that's fair enough. It also helps with this one here, and this is what I meant by fixing up other areas, quote, accidentally. Alright, let's place one on the top, and this will mess things up here. We'll fix it in a moment. And let's take this one and press G twice and bring it up to sharpen this bit here. Now, to fix this bit over here, we can simply cut from there to there, delete this line, and delete this line as well. Okay, we have this one ending here as well. We'll fix that later. Now, what else do we need? We need a line here to sharpen this bit, and as a consequence it goes this way and sharpens this edge as well. Let's see what else it can do. It can help sharpen this edge as well, which we'll need, so we're in good shape with this one. Now, what else do we have here? Let's see. We're going to need a line to come from here all the way there to sharpen this edge, so let's put this one here straight away and let's connect it to the top. And this is all interrelated. This is why it's quite difficult to just work on one area and move on to the next one. You kind of have to see where things land. So I'm going to delete these two. I'm going to insert another one there. And let's see where it goes. Okay, this will be good to sharpen this area here as well. So let's put one there and connect it. Actually, we have two here, but yeah, of course we have more uses for that. So now, hold on, how many lines do we have? We don't need this many lines. So where does this one end? Okay, I'll delete this one. And this is enough. Let's cut from here to there, and let's cut from here to there as well. Yeah, we might have to connect this one. I don't see any other uses for it. So oh, I can see where it might end, so that's okay. Let's insert some lines here and let's connect them to those ends. Like so, and like so. Alright, we have some weirdness going on here. Let's make sure we merge all of that. Okay, so these lines will help us connect those. Right, so back to our subject, which is this over here. Let's place some line there, one there, another one there, another one, there, and there, and there, and there, and there. That's a lot of lines. And there, and there, and there, and there, and one here as well. Okay, so now let's see. Also, we need one on the insides, like so. Now that we are fairly happy with this, I think we can get rid of these parts here. Let's shift select and then control select, shift select, control select. And I'm going to hit Control plus to expand the selection, make sure it's selecting what we want, which is the interior, and delete it. Okay. Now let's smooth it, and as you can see, it's all perfectly sharp. But it causes issues here, issues we'll have to fix, so let's get on with it. There's many ways to approach this. Well, actually not many. There's quite a few ways to approach this. But for now, I'm going to try and simplify it. And to simplify this, you can, for example, pick those two and that one, merge it last, and this simplifies things here. And you can delete whatever edge you don't want here. In this case it's the right one, and this will reduce it down to 2, which is still more than we want, but let's keep working on it. Now another edge that goes here, we can delete this one and then merge. Come on now, merge this one at last, and it starts forming a square. Let's merge this one here for now, and right there. Okay, this line isn't doing anything here. Let's just get rid of it, and let's merge this one down here. What else do we have? This one can come here and make a square. Can bring it down if you wanna. I'll just leave it like that for now. I don't like that shape, but it's working anyway. Okay, so we'll continue to do this. If you'd like, you can press Shift R, and this repeats the last operation, which will make things a lot faster. And okay, that's cool. Let's see, we'll delete this one. And let's bring this one over slightly. Let's see where this one is. Okay, we need this one, so let's check this one. I'll just delete it for now. Okay. Let's delete this one. And this one. This one. That one. And that's it. We have to delete this one as well, and this one. Almost forgot. Okay. So that's a lot less than we had, but it's still too many. So we'll have to find a solution for these lines. And let's see. Let's just merge them. So let's merge here. Center. Repeat last, repeat last, repeat last. So we end up with this. Now, let's delete the ones that don't hold the shape here. So it's this one, sorry, this one, and this one. Let's do the same here. This one, this one, this one, and this one. Alright. Let's see how the smoothing is looking, and it's looking good, even though we have triangles. Let's keep it as it is, because if it's not broken, don't fix it. And that's the thing when you have hard surfaces. If it's not curved or anything, it usually ends up being okay. Of course, there's ways around this. We could spend a lot of time here and fix all the geometry in a way that makes everything quads, but it's pointless. I mean, it's a good exercise for you if you want to try it, but I had my fair share of that, so I'll be skipping it. Okay, so now we pretty much fixed these sides. Let's just add a few control edges here on top to define this bit. And I'll make this one fairly tight. And this line is getting way too loose up here, so I'll select this portion from here to here, hit G twice and bring it over. In fact, I think I'll bring it over a bit more even. Those two as well, bring them over. This one, bring it over a bit more, and that looks tight enough for me. And let's insert another line there, and let's connect it by cutting all the way there. And here this area is pretty good now. I don't think there's much else to do here. I mean, you could tighten up the edges and make everything look really nice and shape it the best you can, you know, perfect your craft. You can also get rid of some annoying lines such as this one. I mean, just delete and cut it off there. It's not something anyone will notice. Or you can keep trying to do things better, you know, just try to make everything quads. I'm not going to do the whole console because it's too much time, and frankly it's just repeating the same steps over and over. It won't teach you anything new. I'll just finish fixing up this area on video so you can see a few more examples of how to cut off edges and do all those sorts of things, but there's no point doing the whole console. Right, so we have a triangle here. Let's place this line over there. Let's delete this one and let's place another one here. Let's do one down the bottom and see where it goes. It's not helping, it's not hurting either, so just leave it be. Let's cut here, connect there and there. Let's insert another one there and there. See where it's going. And this one will help us shape this side as well. So let's keep it and let's connect it all the way around. Connect this one as well. Now let's sharpen up this area. We'll use the knife to cut an edge all the way around here, and we'll let this edge finish on top. Then we'll do the same with the other side. And we can adjust the vertices to tighten up the edges and make things look a bit sharper. Now let's insert some control edges to tighten up the corners on top. And do the same for the other holes. Here I'm just cutting off this line. And I'm going to redirect this one. We'll see if there's any use for those lines, but I don't think so. So this portion is looking fairly sharp now. There are certainly some lines here we can get rid of and optimize. But as it stands, it's not something we really need to worry about now. Let's tighten up some of these corners. You can bring this closer if you like, but make sure you don't mess up the other side. Bring this one close as well. Be careful with this kind of thing. Actually, this edge isn't doing anything here. Or is it? It is. My bad, my bad. Let's get the cursor out of the way. What else can we do? We can cut this one off. So we need one here. And let's be careful and see where it goes. Goes there. It's no biggie. Connect it all the way. And it's cut off. So now that we have that, we can actually get rid of this line here by doing the following, which we've done before. Select those two and that one, merge at last, and there we go. We can even get rid of this useless one here. And we can add another one there to sharpen things up more, and another one. And we're back with the same problem here, but that's okay. That's okay. Let's just keep optimizing it. Let's bring it down a little bit. This one as well. Let's see if we can get rid of this one. We can. Yes, we can. Now merge those, merge it last, and delete this one. Let's space this out a little bit and straighten things up. You don't have to do this everywhere, but you know, just try to keep things manageable and in a way you can read. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But we have this loose one here, so let's connect it. Connect there. And we can add 4. Straighten them out a little bit if you can. Bring them down. And you can connect things. Let's bring those up a little bit and connect them. To connect these lines, you can also select both vertices and press J to join them. There you have it. It's looking pretty decent now. We need to merge those two. They're giving us trouble. And there's still something odd here. Oh, it's this one. So let's bring it over and connect it. Now the topology is looking pretty good here. As you can see, all the lines flow fairly well, but we have some issue here. Yeah, it's the triangle causing this issue. But it's not really noticeable, so I'm not sure I'm going to bother. Actually, you can do this, merge it last, and that helps. And you can do the same here. Merge it last, and then let's see what these lines are before we delete them, and we can safely delete them. So now, as you can see, the topology is looking a lot better. Still have some issues we could solve, but again, there's no point. There's no point bothering too much. I would go all the way around and fix all of the problem areas and make everything look nice, and then after everything looks nice, I would maybe bother fixing up the topology a bit more. But the number one thing is it looks nice. It's not like we're going to animate or anything of that sort, so if it works, it works. Now let's just have a look at one small detail before we skip ahead to UVing and texturing, which is this bit here. So I'm going to isolate this. And I'm going to show you how you can quickly, well, maybe not so quickly, but how you can more easily tackle this portion here. So we'll select all of the front faces, and then what we'll do is an inset. So you press I, you do an inset, you make sure the margins are okay, and this will give us the edges we want without coming here manually and cutting them all off. So keep an eye out for that whenever you can do it. Just do it like that and save yourself the work. Then we can just place a few loops inside, like so. Select them all at the same time so it looks consistent, and bring them all over again so it looks consistent. Everything is the same size. And that's it. You can either delete this part here, and it will, if you delete this, it will look nice, but it will have a hole. If you don't want to delete it, you can always insert more edge loops, and you can bring them back all the way there, and then select all of the back and do an inset on those as well, like so. And if this looked difficult to you, now you can see how easy some parts can get. But of course you had to prepare the topology in advance, make sure everything is done correctly. And I advise you to study my model and to figure out how I've done it. It's not difficult, it's just a matter of connecting lines. Make sure everything is straight, and there you go. It's looking great. Smooth it, and an otherwise complex shape it's made really easily. These don't have anything special. We can just, I left this here on purpose so I could show you that yeah, we need to connect those. And let's delete those. This one is not looking very good, so let's see what's happening with it. Maybe it's merging, maybe it's just the angle. So we can connect it here as well. This looks really messy. Make sure you don't delete this part. Just that. Use the knife to cut. Okay, now we have 2 for 2. And let's do that. Let's bring those over and over, delete this one, and do the same here. Right, that's another problem solved. Let's see if this is still doing, yeah, no, it's no longer doing that, so you can get rid of that line. And there it is. Then, you know, insert control edges all the way around and manually fix issues like that. Then you add the subdivision surface and see what else needs to happen. As always, the fix for these problems is more control edges. Smooth it, increase the iterations, and as you can see, there's a big difference between the one that's fixed and the one that isn't. And this is what I meant by triangles causing problems in certain areas. So with this, I think you have all the skills you need to finish up modeling your console. We'd just be repeating the same things over and over. So for the remainder of this chapter, it will be a time lapse of me finishing up mine, and then we can move on to UV mapping and texturing. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.